Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter with Pivotal Peace. I am your go-to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs, and I'm also a legal document assistant, LDA, based in the greater Los Angeles area. It's Friday, and you got to finish your divorce. So let's talk about the FL 345. This is a really important attachment. It gets attached to the FL 180, which is your judgment. And in this form, this is where you describe what's happening with your property, what's happening with everything you owe and own. So let's jump into it. Okay, great. So this is your 345. What's going to happen here is you're going to put your name right up here if you're the petitioner. Make sure it matches the name you put on the petition. I know that sounds silly, but sometimes people put a middle initial or a middle name, or they don't. And then they put a different variation on these final papers, and the court will reject it. Same thing for the respondent. If your spouse is a junior, but you didn't put that on the initial paperwork, do not put it on here. Make sure your case number is correct. Okay, so then this is the property order attachment to judgment. What you're going to do is you're going to go, is there any community property? If there isn't, you're done with number one. You're going to click A. But if there is, what you're usually going to do is come down here and click C and click D. If it's just a little bit, you can put it here. But if it's a lot, you can do this. And it says C attachment 1C. I swear to God, there's something special about this. Here we go. Here is attachment 1C. It is MC025. You would put your name, their name, your case number, and you would put FL 345 1C. Because this is the attachment. We're working on this form, and this is the answer for these questions. And here, you're going to list everything you're getting. Try not to use your name if at all possible. I mean, you could, but it would be better if you're the petitioner to put the petitioner will receive this Chase checking account that ends in 1234. They will receive the Tesla, the license plate is blah, blah, blah. They will receive this, this, and this. It's great. You're going to do the same thing for the respondent. If you click here, let me go back. Okay, and if you don't even need to write anything here. You could say see attached form. That's polite. This will also let them know, oh, there's an attached form. It's going to go after these 2 pages. It'll create the identical form, MC025. You're just going to add that on there. Everything the respondent is getting. Now, if you have retirement that you are dividing, the court is asking you to document it here on E. Okay, because if you have a 401k, if you have a pension, it's very, very, very likely you're going to need a quadro. So that means after your divorce is done, you're not done. You need to take your divorce paperwork to a quadro attorney so that they can draft a quadro to submit to the court, submit to the plan administrator, so that retirement can be properly divided. Don't sleep on that. Don't get divorced and 20 years later you're like, oh crap, I didn't do it. Do it. It's annoying. Your future self will thank you. So get it done. Sometimes there's other orders. If there happens to be any other orders, you can list them here. Okay. Now we get to the debt. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Each spouse or domestic partner will receive the assets listed above as sole and separate property. The parties must, not should, or it's a suggestion. No, they must execute any and all documents required to carry out this division. Check that box. Better check that box. Okay, and then we have community property debts. There are some people, they're like, we don't have any debts. Okay, for the rest of the world, you got debts. Sometimes it's actually not uncommon. One person will pay the debts. So let's say the respondent has paid the debts. They just said, we're paying this off. I want to be done, but you owe me. Okay? So then they can put that the petitioner owes them this amount of money, and then they can create a payment plan. What is also common, though, more common than that, is people are just, wait, go away. Okay. It's just like before with 1C and 1D. This is 2C and 2D, where the petitioner is going to be, you're going to list the debts that the petitioner has. And it's the same thing. You can check this box and see attachment 2C and fill in all of the debts the petitioner is getting. Even if it's just 2 or 3, you can do that. If you run out of room here, you can add the form. If you just like the extra form because it's a little more clean, then use it. Use it. Same thing here. We're on page 2. You have to put their headers here and the case number and then what's happening with respondent. I actually had one where the way their property division was and the way the disparity of income was in their relationship, the petitioner was taking a lot of the property and all of the debt because there wasn't much. And the respondent, and she also had a way better job. And the respondent wasn't taking any debt. And so for him, there was nothing filled out. That's really rare. Usually if one person takes debt, the other person takes the other debt. Okay? Once again, other orders. Here's what I want you to really know. Creditors, if you have a credit card and your spouse ran it up and they're like, I'm going to pay it, and it's listed here, you know that they're going to pay it. Oh, shoot. Let me go back. Sorry about that. If it's listed that they're going to pay it, and they don't, the creditor can still come after you if your name is on that debt. So really think clearly about how this debt is being paid off, how it's being assigned, because it's going to continue to affect your credit until your former spouse gets their stuff together and pays it off. Other people make an equalizing payment. So maybe somebody bought the other person out. Maybe there was a windfall of money and they're just going, I'm just going to wash my hands. We don't want to be financially tied to one another anymore. So I'm just going to make an equalizing payment. Well, you can notate that here in 3, the equalizing payment. Now, this is also the part where you can list your separate property. Notice there's not a little attachment here. You can always add an attachment. You can say see attached. That's perfectly fine. And then you can take one of those forms again and attach that there and label it FL345 4, number 4. And you can list everything that's your separate property to make sure that that's clearly delineated. Same for the respondent. Sometimes people do a marriage settlement agreement and they just want to attach it. You can do that here and attach it, and you're putting the date that you guys signed it. Other times people are selling the property and they need to decide, how is this property going to be sold and how are we going to divide the proceeds? Because yeah, this is nice, it's divided equally, but that's not always the case. So you're going to want to detail out how that has happened. And then any other orders. Sometimes there's something extra you have. Pets are considered property. Pets are not children. They will not go on the forms for custody. So, and please don't be offended. Let me rephrase that. The court does not see pets as children. They see them as property. So you might want to either account for them here under number 7, other orders, or you can put them up here that the respondent is going to receive the dog. The court considers it property. So you've got a couple of places to put that, but do not forget about your fur babies. They're important. They need to be documented. Okay, I hope you can see that the FL 345 is not challenging at all. This is a place where you are documenting your agreement. So remember in step 2 where you had to fill out your schedule of assets and debts and you're just like, oh my God, this is so annoying. Use your hard work to help you fill out your 345. Remember how you listed that Birkin bag that you put on your credit card? List that on your property agreement, your 345, that you've agreed to keep that bag and they're going to keep their Rolex watch. This is where you want to list it. All right, it doesn't have to be that complicated. If you have questions, if you need help, I got you. All right, I can't give you legal advice, but I can point you in the right direction to people who do, and you're going to be okay. It's not that hard. It's not as hard as it looks. You can do this. Have a great weekend, guys.